Alright, hello Internet. It is July 19th, 2018, and I feel like we are long overdue for another episode of Chatzu's Corner. And yeah, what has inspired this episode today is the recent incident with a tweet sent out by GOG promoting the new DLC for Postal 2. I'm going to try to keep this as PG as I possibly can, but this one might push me to the limits on that. But essentially, what the tweet was a picture of the postal guy. It's like a first person peeing on a grave that says "Games Journalist." It said some other things, but I was having trouble finding the actual picture, so I just have this lovely GOG logo up there. Um, Basically, games journalists got really offended by this, and a lot of them are trying to claim that it's a pro Gamergate tweet, which, quite frankly, I don't see what's actually wrong with that, because while games journalists might like to tell you that, oh, it was an attack on women and minorities in video games, that was absolutely not what it was, especially considering that plenty of the people that made up Gamergate were women and minorities, so, let's ignore that little factoid. Um, Basically, what sparked it, there was a lot of building up of, yeah, let's go ahead and say hatred towards games journalists from people who, in the gaming community, who basically believed that they were, well, let's come out and say that, corrupt. They were corrupt. That they were, in the case of the incident that actually sparked Gamergate, that basically game publishers were essentially in bed with games journalists. Which, you may say, oh, it's video games, not that big of a deal, but really, when you are a publication that is trying to help consumers decide where to spend their money, and you're not disclosing the obvious biases that you have towards the actual publishers of said product, that's sketchy. That's not right. It doesn't matter what's being sold, that is not right. And the incident that actually sparked Gamergate, which was essentially just a hashtag movement on Twitter, was basically there was a yeah, I'm not even going to name names here. There was someone who was publishing games who basically slept with a bunch of guys who turned around and gave positive coverage to a game that she was making. And this was all found out because her then ex-boyfriend basically wrote this whole thing. I don't remember where it was or anything. I don't remember the exact details. But yeah, basically that was the incident that sparked it. Because, of course it was going to be a sex scandal that sparked something like this. That's not because sexism had anything to do with it. That's just because that's how the internet and pop culture and all that works. The more scandalous something is, the more likely it is to turn into a big thing. That's just human nature. Um, but because there was some harassment involved with people using the hashtag, which, they're trying to say that this was this huge thing, which I'm sure there were a lot. I'm sure there were a lot of tweets like that. It's a hashtag. Anybody could use it. But they're ignoring the fact that, this is the internet. It is a bastion of free speech, for better or for worse. People can say things anonymously. That's not just Gamergate. That's the internet as a whole. It is not isolated to a frickin' hashtag. But essentially, they tried to say that this was, connected to Gamergate, which has been dead for about 4 years now, so it's kind of irrelevant, even though the games journalists constantly try to bring it up as this boogeyman. But basically, from what I could tell, all it really looked like was whoever makes Postal 2, taking a shot at games journalists because, let's be honest, it's a controversial game series, and games journalists, especially nowadays with the whole PC culture and the social justice and all that, they're not big fans of Postal 2. So naturally, they were going to want to take a swipe at them. And a lot of these games journalists came after GOG for this tweet. And GOG did something that they absolutely should not have done. They apologized. Not only did they apologize, but they seem to just be groveling before these people now. Which, anyone who understands these social justice types knows how bad of an idea that is. I'd like to think that the people at GOG that decided to make these apologies were ignorant of this. At least I like to think that's what happened because, oh man. Anyone could have predicted that, apologizing, groveling before them wasn't ever going to be enough. It's never enough for them. And, as we're starting to already see, it's not enough for them. They are essentially, boycotting GOG at this point. Which GOG should not have been afraid of that, because people who actually play games don't really give a crap what games journalists have to say, or what any of these publications, I don't know who has actually responded to them, but you know the names. IGN, Polygon, those are the types of people that are coming after them right now. Like I said, I like to think that it was just ignorance on their part, the apologies. As of right now, as soon as I actually have money to spend, I'd like to continue to support GOG. I'd like to complete my Monkey Island and Myst collections. I'm worried about where GOG is going to go from here. If they fully give into this social justice crap, it's concerning. It really is. Well, like I said, they shouldn't have apologized. They shouldn't have said anything. Just ignore them, and hopefully they'll go away, or they'll lose interest over time. Maybe they'll bring you up from time to time in a negative light, but they don't hold the type of influence that some of these companies think they do. And I'm talking about just the game journalists in general. Polygon, IGN, they don't hold that much influence. The only reason why it looks like they hold so much influence is because companies and places and people that they criticize will respond as if they have influence, because they're worried about what's going to happen, when the reality is that nothing's going to happen. Anyway, I haven't checked to see how long this has gone, but that's really the only topic that I have for today. I guess until next time, until I have something else that I feel like talking about, I'll keep looking into this and see where it goes from here. This is Chatzu signing out.